The Shattervale has an insane boss fight where we take on a whole T-Rex zombie. It's crazy, and I recommend everybody tries it out. And whether you are struggling to beat it or you just want to know what the best current strategy is, then this video is for you, because I think with this strategy, everybody should be able to beat this boss fight, because honestly it's a boss fight that is easy to learn and I think even easier to master, and just having an understanding of it before going in is going to help you a lot. And if that sounds helpful to you, I'd very much appreciate if you guys showed some support to the channel by dropping a like and even subscribing. And with that said, let's go beat some T-Rex zombie. Now first, let's start off with your setup. What should you even bring into the boss fight? Now, with the most important thing is going to be your gun. And by far the best gun to beat this boss with is going to be the blue ray gun Mark II. It is just so good. It shoots super fast and puts out a ton of damage. There's really nothing else that's been discovered that's even close to this. And what makes it even better is you don't even need to get it to Pack Punch level 3. I've easily done the boss fight, and many other people have easily done the boss fight with it at Pack Punch level 2. And the only difference between Pack Punch level 2 and Pack Punch level 3 is that with Pack Punch level 3, it does 100 more damage per shot, which isn't nothing, but it's nothing crazy that's worth going a couple more rounds in my opinion. But if you want to be safe, you can bring in Pack Punch level 3, but trust me, after a while, you're going to think like, oh, I don't really need that. Now, there is a problem with choosing a wonder weapon for this boss fight, because for some reason in this boss fight, it gives you 0 free max ammos, which is a problem because you'll run out of ammo for sure before you're able to kill this T-Rex boss. Now, thankfully, the zombies and even Richtofen will throw you down a ton of ammo, which is nice, but still you'll run out of ammo. And this is why I recommend a long bringing with a ray gun Mark II, 10,000 points or at least something close to it, because there's also places you could buy ammo, and regardless of what level of Pack Punch you bring in with the ray gun, it's always going to be 10,000 points. So don't ruin your boss fight run because you ran out of ammo. Always be able to buy ammo at least once. Now, the next most important thing for this boss fight is going to be your score streak, because you need to bring in the chopper gunner. This is so important. It will make the boss fight so much a breeze, especially for the later phases. Now, as for your perks, I only think there's 6 perks that feel absolutely necessary in my opinion. And these are going to be starting off with the OG4, Quick Revive, Juggernog, Double Tap, and Speed Cola. And then after that, I think PhD with Tribologist equipped and also Stamina Up are going to be great for this boss fight. And I'll talk about this later, but you just want to keep your distance from this boss, and these are going to help you do this. Now, some people recommend bringing in Vulturade with the Parting Gift augment to get more ammo for your Mark II, but I haven't found it worth it to wait till round 25 for the Wonder Fizz to spawn in to get this. But if you want to be safe in terms of ammo, you can use that combo. Now, as for your field upgrade, I recommend bringing in Frenzy Guard. Now, this is great already because it's going to fill up your armor, which is nice, but that's not even the main reason we're going to be using it. The main reason I recommend it is because when it's active, you actually are pretty much invincible, because you will not take any damage to your health and all damage will be to your armor, which is actually really broken because you can just kill some zombies to replenish that armor that you lost. Is actually really good for offensive gameplay, and it could become even better with the augments that I recommend, being Frenzy Fire, where you can use ammo from the stock so you just light up the boss during this, and also Extension to make it last even longer. And a little trick to get another free full power is if you go next to the elemental pop room, and in this zombie spawn, if you throw a C4 right here, then you could blow up that C4 whenever, and you'll get a free full power during the boss fight. And the final thing I recommend bringing in are some black hole grenades, or Casimir device, or whatever you want to really call them. Let's actually talk about what you should do when you're actually in the boss fight. Now, a couple things to keep in mind with this boss fight. There's 4 phases in total, and the second 2 phases, the boss becomes more active and faster, and that's something you have to keep in mind, and it's pretty obvious when that is because he starts glowing. But another important thing about this boss fight is that the boss only really walks in a circle. He can flip around sometimes, but he really is only walking in a circle most of the time. And that's going to be important when we talk about what you should do when you're playing this boss fight. because my first and most important tip about this boss fight is to always keep moving. Do not let this boss catch up to you, because most of the time he'll just bite you or launch you in the air or whack you with a tail, and he'll just hurt you once. But sometimes he could do a combo of that. He does a jump, bite, and swing, and that can instantly down you, which really sucks. It's rare, but it does happen, so just avoid that entirely and keep moving. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where the boss does catch up to you, the best way I've found to escape him is to cut through the middle, because he very rarely walks in the middle of the map. He likes staying in his outer circle there that he keeps most of the time. So if he catches up to you, just turn to your right or your left, whatever it is, and cut through the middle to get away from him. Now, another thing to be careful with is on the floor, you'll have these poison spots on the floor. If you walk over, they won't only damage you, but they'll also slow you down. That's kind of the more deadly part. Now, ideally, you try to just avoid them, but sometimes that's going to be impossible. And what I recommend doing, if that is going to be the case, try hitting a slide or a jump before you get slowed down so you're not slowed all the way through. Now, as for damaging this boss, obviously you can just shoot him in general and the ray gun will do pretty good damage, but you'll notice that his glowing spots are his weak spots, mainly his eyes. Now, those are kind of hard to hit, so don't worry if you can't hit them too often, but if you can try to get a couple hits here and there, that's nice. Also, keep an eye on his stomach, because on both sides of his stomach, every now and then they will start glowing, and you want to shoot those and deal that extra critical damage. Now, they don't last that long, but at least shoot them when you can. Another time he is weak is when he's roaring at you and he has his mouth open. You could shoot into his mouth and get some more extra critical damage then too. Now, in the first phase, I actually recommend activating your frenzy guard immediately, just so you could use and just light him up real fast, but you could save it to when you're not using your armor or whenever that is. But regardless, this first phase should go by pretty smooth. You shouldn't have to worry about too much here. Now, like I said, this boss has 4 phases, and you'll know that you're done with the phase because the boss will just jump in the air on top of the mountain here. Now, a cool tip here is that he's actually vulnerable for a bit here, and I recommend just lighting him up as much as you can when he's up here, just to get some extra damage in. Now, for the in-between phases, what I recommend doing is going and stand under where Richtofen is, because Richtofen actually throws you some good rewards. In these in-between phases, a lot of zombies are going to spawn, and you're going to not want to shoot them with your ray gun too much because you don't want to run out of ammo. And this is where I recommend using your Casimir grenades. These are going to be a good way just to chill out and let all the zombies die that and collect the armor and ammo they drop without wasting any of it. Obviously, you could use your black hole grenades during the actual boss part of this fight, but this is how I found to be the best way to save ammo doing this. Now, for the second phase, it should be more of the same of what you did in the first phase. Nothing really changes here. But when the third phase happens, this is where the boss gets more aggressive and more faster. So just keep that in mind, but really just play it the same as you did the first 2 rounds. Just try to keep a little extra distance between you and the boss this time around. But let's say something bad happens, the worst happens, you actually end up going down. Now, one tip I do have to you guys is that when you're down, just try to get some extra shots on the boss before you revive yourself, because you're going to have the Ray Gun Mark II out. Now, you don't want to waste your perks if you're about to lose them, but it is something that could be helpful. Because it's actually especially helpful because on solo, if you do go down and you use your self-revive, Richtofen will actually give you a free self-revive. I've tested this twice and it's worked both times. He always gives you a second self-revive. So make sure to run under him so you can get that. Because even if you go down again, when you're down again, you'll get even more shots on the boss. It's a great way to do extra damage. But of course, then this will bring you to the final phase. And this is when I recommend immediately activating your chopper gunner. This will fly you through a phase almost entirely. He'll have a little bit extra health left after you're out of it, but it's really not that much. But with that, you should be able to beat this boss fight and collect your rewards and watch your cutscene. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for me. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this strategy. Was there something I'd left out, something I should have added, or I over-exaggerated something, anything like that? I'd love to hear all your little critiques all down in the comment section below. But if you guys did find this helpful, like I said at the start of the video, I'd appreciate if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, bell, share, any of that great stuff. But for now, I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.